welcome to another edition of Talking Point on the Nigeria Television Authority, Nta Akure, the dynamic station. This is the program where we highlight and discuss issues in the society with the aim of informing, educating, and solutions to this issue. I am Abiola Ariyo. It's good to have you join us on the program this evening. If you are just joining us, this is Talking Point on Nta Akure. Our topic of discussion today is parental bullying, the hidden damage to a child's well-being. And as usual, I won't be doing the talking alone. With me in the studio this evening, a counselor. He is my guest. He is the person of Apostle Oluwabenga Akinpobola. Apostle Akinpobola, it's good to have you join us on the program.
Thank you, madam. Good evening.
Yeah, when we talk about parental bullying, what is the meaning of parental bullying?
I will start by first explaining what bullying is. Bullying is an action that hurts or affects a person or group of people. Anything you do that affects the psychological domain of that person or group of people, anything you do, whether indeed action or you are saying it, that hurts other person is called bullying. And the word bullying go alongside with another word called harassment. They use interchangeably, depending on the situation. But bullying, the real sense, focus much more on group of people and in the public place. While harassment is any actions that hurt or harm people in a private place. So if I shout on you or do anything that hurt or harm you publicly, that's called bullying. If I do it secretly, that's called harassment. So the parental bullying, going by that definition, is just any action by a parent or guardians that hurts, harm, affect the social imbalance of another person. So when you read to parents, child or children now, any action taken by a parent that hurts that child or children, that affect the psychological domain of that child or children, that's called parental bullying. When I was defining, I said it can be an action. For example, you slap your child, it hurts or disorganizes that child. That's bullying. But let me say this, coming to African culture, I can say it's part of our culture here. Because nearly all parents do that too. In Africa, we do hurt our children, but by the time they grow up, they will see the importance. And that's why cultural-wise, we are better than the Western world. So bullying is a negative action that hurts a child or children negatively.
Yeah, we have some parents that do this bullying, that bully their child, but they do not know. What are the signs to show that you are a bullying parent?
A bullying parent is someone who often do it. And let me add to the definition. That action is deliberate and it occurs regularly. That's why bullying is different from harassment. Anything you do deliberately and comes on a consequences. So when you look at the child, for example, in the school, you see the child, whenever it's coming from the parents, always look sad or dull. Know that something has gone wrong with that child. But when a child leaves his or her father, whether you bring him or her by hands, and see the child is finding it difficult to leave the parents, it's not there. So when a child, especially the younger ones, to move with their peer group in the school, there's elements of bullying there, which means at home the child is not happy. And when you go by the definitions, I said anything that hurt or harm. So at times your child may ask for something, when you don't give him or her every time he or she asks, That's a form of bullying. You are hurting that child. The teacher said, bring a pencil. You she sees himself as free outside. So it's a sign of bullying environment.
That is on the part of the child. Then, as a parent, there are some things that I do that I do not know that I do it. So, if I'm a bullying parent, what are those things in me that easily, when people say this, they will say, okay, this parent, this mother is a bullying type. If the way I talk, the way I shout or something, what are those characteristics in a bullying parent that will make us to know that this person is a bullying parent?
And then from the parent angle, you can only know from the action of that child or children. A bullying parent may not know. But let me say this again, in Africa, 95% are bully parents. Be going by our culture. Because I define as something that hurt or harm. By the time you are disciplining your child, you want the best out of him or her. But at that stage, the child will think you hate him or her. I take myself as a case study when we were young. One day I asked myself, God, why do you send me to this kind of family? But now I thank God. Because if not because of my parent, I would not have risen to this level. I remember when I got to secondary school then from one, my mother called me, you are secondary school now. I don't want to see any girls follow you. The day you impregnate a girl, that's the end of your education. And that thing ran bell till I graduated. I'm telling you, I finished university, I do not know a woman because of that discipline. But initially, I hated that sin because especially when we were from 3, from 4 days of my classmates, they have girlfriend. Yet I want to have them. I'm not sincere. I know some girls that do play with me, but where will I take her to? Who bought monkey? They are not with my parents. They are hurting me then, not to my own detriment, but for me to have a better life. And I thank God today.
Yeah. Let's cite an example of one incident that happened. A, a young boy is being constantly talked to, bullied by his parents. And one certain day, he just decided to drink sniper and ended just like that. So, how do you see this kind of thing? Is the boy to be blamed or the parents? What do you think really happened to them?
One must be careful when we are answering this question because we're not there. We don't know actual thing that happened. Ordinarily, if a parent bullies the child, I believe the parent is trying to correct that child.
For too much of it.
I'm still coming to that one. That's like two sides to this. You see, lack of communication. Once you cannot communicate effectively, people will not understand you. We are parents. I do talk to my children, I do discipline them, regardless of your age or status. But by the time I do that to one, I make sure I communicate. Don't do this. If you do this, this is a consequence. So it depends. For a young man or a boy to take poison, snipers, to me it's an extreme. Something has gone wrong there. One, we don't know the sanity of that boy. We don't know the psychological imbalance in him. Ordinary bullying, don't do that one, shouldn't have Go to that level. But let us agree it happens. It means the parents are not careful and they're not conscious of the environment. Because according to psychologists, we have 5 stages to committing suicide. The third one is the withdrawal syndrome. The boy, you will see him withdrawn from the parent, the fourth one withdraw from the society, everybody. You will see everybody as enemy. So at that stage, they should ought to have known that something has gone wrong with him. And you see, right hand, know the importance, the reason behind it. Show them love. If you need to beat moderately, let that child know the reason why you are beating him or her. It's better than the Western culture, whereby the child will grow without being cultured or trained. We still have a better society. When Nigeria is still what it is today because of our background. So that one, to me, that is an exceptional cases, extreme. For example, I think, I don't know what happened, maybe the boy failed, and according to the story, maybe playing music or this one, say, it's because of this thing, you see your mate.
Start comparing.
Yes, that's bullying. It will hurt that boy. And if the boy is not psychologically balanced, he or she will go otherwise, like the example you give. Is to me is an assessment inside of the parents. Just call the boy. Why do you fail your this thing? Maybe your wife, your job. Why can't you create more time instead of following musician, going to church all this? I think the boy went to church, all those ones. You balance it. But when you are one-sided, you just want to achieve one goals at all costs, it can lead to what we're talking about. Not conscious of the emotion and the psychology of that child, the boy. They are just too optimistic that I want you to be an engineer, a doctor, you must be. Yes, look at them. My own children, I look at what they love most from their childhood. Make sure to this, I'm training them in that line. I have one, there's nothing you cannot do with computer. And it's in the medical lab. And I make sure everything called computer. I have one that, from baby, play every music, every instrument. I correct. But please, parents, we have to balance it. Not parents to child or children alone, even among spouse. Even in an office environment, when you're trying to correct, look at that. For example, in a structured organization like this, when the staff come late, yes, it's an offense. They don't talk to him or her. Hey, you are not serious, you are not responsible. You don't know what has happened. It may be transferring aggression, and before you know, those very weak thinking faculty, they will take otherwise decision. So I think that's what has affected that boy. But the parents at fault. The two parents ought to have. To me, the boy has interest in music. So develop that trait in him. And let me say, I don't want to mention it. There's a daughter of one of the richest men in this country. The daughter, she's into music, DJ. The last time when I monitored, she has close to $2 million. So some parents believe if you don't do this, you cannot make it in life. No. It's lack of understanding. And they've seen the worst person now.
Thank you very much, Apostle. We'll quickly go on a short break now. And when we come back, Talking Point continues on NTA Akure. You're welcome back. This is still Talking Point on the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA Akure. Our topic of discussion so far has been parental bullying, the hidden damage to a child's well-being. And my guest has been a counselor. He is the person of Apostle Oluwagbemiga Akinbokola. We are still talking about parental bullying. What effect does this parental bullying has on our child?
From the devolution, anything that hurt or harm. So you should be expecting negative results. And that's why the English says excess of everything is bad. When you want to correct your child, correct mindly. Like I said earlier, let that child knows the reason behind that correction. For example, don't just beat your child, say, you are licking sweet, sugar, make there. Let him or her understand the consequence. That when you grow up, when you steal, if law enforcement catch you, you go to prison. If society catch you, you see, you hate yourself. Everybody will move away from you. So there's no good thing in this thing. But please, parent, I'm begging the parent that are watching us, please balance these two. Don't be too optimistic. You know, some people carry the inborn trait. This is what I want to achieve. They are careless about others. They don't want to raise along with you. They don't want to. I think last week, one of my children came from school. I saw him sleeping. I said, why are you sleeping? I gave him an assignment. He went to his room and slept off. Ideally, African nature, I should use king. I called wives and I discovered they were doing practical. So he stood more than 10, 12 hours. He was a medical. So by the time he came back, he was too tired. So if I've beaten him and I've caused more damages. So I asked him, why? I said, you do this. He said, I'm sorry, Dad. I'm too weak. I will do it. I said, no, go and sleep. And I went myself, I did it. The following morning when you wake up, you find it done. So Dad, I said, no, no, no. We should understand. And please let us be sensitive to the mood of our children. Look at them critically, especially the females one. Don't say don't have boyfriends. It's when you make your daughter your best of friend, she will tell you everything she's seen and passing through here. Thank God that are giving me male and female. So I know what I'm talking about. My daughters, they are my best friend. There's nothing they could not tell me. That's the truth. So the parents, the gap is there. They don't bring their world, their children closer to themselves. Eat, go to school, do this, that. No. Be friendly with them. You are the first friend. So by the time they grow up, that intimacy will be there. Why do you fail your exam? Even before you fail, you just say, Daddy, I'm sorry, Mommy, I disappoint you. I score B or C because they know that you want them to score A because of the intimacy. But when they see you as a small God, fearful, there'll be problem. Is then they be listening to outsiders. The case study you mentioned, only God knows who introduced that guy to music world. But to me, is finding joy player in that music world. So the parent ought to have known. Ask a question. Do you prefer this? Then build in there. Let fella, the father wanted to be a medical doctor. They changed to music. Among the siblings, he was one that known worldwide. We had one that was once a medical doctor, but not as popular as late fella. So there's nothing you do, you can make it if God have destined to be. So let there be intimacy between parent and the children. It will stop this bullying we're talking about. I correct my children, but they know. By the time I say come and kneel down, they know that they've gone essence in that direction. So let there be this. And let me say this. By age of 18, average child leave the parents, go to higher station. By the time they graduate for service, then they start living on their own. So your child is between 1 and 17 years that he or she will stay with you. And it's that foundational period that anything you build will linger on. At old age, some child will not come back to the parent because they are not used to. They do not talk. I'm saying it again, this is what I press at home. I discuss with my children, and there's nothing called hidden they cannot discuss with me. Even they discuss with me more than my wife. If I see you, Francis, what? Yeah, come. If it's a girl, say to her, like, why, what do you want? Why do you say? They tell me. So I make them friends. So please, parents, make your children before they start living on their own your best friend, not outsiders. So you know what they are passing through. You have the confidence in telling you even the hidden things.
Thank you very much, Apostle Akin Bobola. We hope when next we call on you, you gladly oblige to
By the grace of
answer.
God, thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, viewers at home, this is where we will be drawing the curtain on today's edition of Talking Points on the Nigerian Television Authority. Join us same time next week for another edition. Till then, I am Abiola Ario. Good evening.